One.
Alrighty, here we go. The Queens, Nassau, and Suffolk County weekly market updates is every Friday. We'll bring you the numbers, what's happening in the counties, right? In terms of new available homes hitting the market, to what's going in contract and what's selling. Obviously, we've been having issues with the inventory, so we're always looking to see if there is more inventory. So, without any further ado, let's start with Queens single family homes. Perfect. Always shout out to Humaira putting a lot of effort into these. Fatima, take them for me.
Okay, perfect. So as always, we're gonna compare um this week to last week to this week. I'm sorry, last week last year. So we're gonna start off with new listings in Queens. We have 171 listing of average price of 1.11 mil, let's say. And then last week we had 144 new listing, and then last year around the same week we had 21 new listing of average price 635. Under contract, we have this week 80, average price of 826. Last week 85, 85. I'm sorry, 85 homes under contract of average price of 806. And then last year last week we had zero under contract, obviously because of COVID. Sold homes, we have 35 listings sold for average price of 990. We have last week 64 listings sold of average price of 843, and last year we had 17 homes of average price of 784.
Perfect. Thank you for the rundown. So, bottom line, right? Inventory, right? So, 171 new single family homes hit the market in Queens 2 weeks ago. That's a great number, right? I think that was the highest we have seen in really, really long time. Not too shabby. Last week, 144, right? So, we've been having issues with inventory, and it's good to see that there's more homes coming on the market. Contracts obviously up two, sales up two. So, no complaints on the single family homes. Let's look at the multis. Perfect. So multifamily homes, that's going to be two families through four families in Queens. Again, last 2 weeks, we've had a great number, 112 properties, average list price 1.173. Last week, it went down a bit, 89. Very similar list prices, 1.137. And last year, and again, those are the COVID weeks, right? That's when the COVID really hit Queens heavily. Only 10 new brave homeowners hit the market with the average price of only 794. So I wouldn't really pay too much attention to it. Contracts 62 to 57, right? So great numbers. Average 2 weeks ago about 1.147. Last week about 1,080,000, right? So you can see very close to the asking prices. Again, nothing in contract during last year. Understandable. Close 35 to 32, so very similar. 1,077 to 910, and then last year only six properties sold. Now with the prices, right? Average prices. If anybody is interested to know what is the average value in your neighborhood, then just let us know. Because keep in mind, guys, we're comparing the whole Queens, right? You've got two family in Queens Village and you've got two family in Jamaica Estates, totally different price. So don't pay too much attention to the averages, right? Because it varies depending on how many homes in what neighborhood sold. But again, take away from the multifamilies, we're back in full action. Plenty of inventory in 1 week, plenty of contracts, and a little slow on the closings, but they will eventually catch up. Let's hit the co-ops. Mohammed, will you take care of the co-ops for us?
Sure. So for this week, 244 on new listings, and the average price was 454.
That's two
Under
weeks
con-
ago, Mohammed. So that's April 4th. I'm sorry, April 5th to April 11th. So the right, it's the 2 weeks ago. The one in the middle, it's a week ago, and the one to the left, that's a year ago. Okay, go for it, brother.
sorry about that.
No
So
worries.
2 weeks ago, new listings was 244, and the average price was 454. Under contract was 116. The average price was 402, and sold was 50, which was 362. For last week, April 12th, for new listings, it was 198. The average price was 465. Under contract was 105, and the average price was 438. And sold was 54, and the average price was 331. And last week is 13 new listings. Obviously, because of COVID, the numbers are extremely low. 419 was the average price, zero under contract, and sold was 16, and the average price was 367.
Good stuff, brother. Thank you for the rundown. So again, right, we see a lots of units hitting the market. Again, keep in mind, guys, these are condos and co-ops, studios, all the way to three bedrooms, right? But plenty of inventory. And what's really encouraging to see is there's a lot of people getting in contracts. In just last 2 weeks, we had over 220 apartments going in contract in 2 weeks, right? That's amazing. I mean, if you do the math, that's about what? 15 apartments going in contract every single day, right? Which is great to see. Okay, Tashi, jump on the Nassau County.
For Nassau County, 2 weeks ago, there was 425 new listings for an average price of $1 million. For under contract for new listing for single family homes, we're 270 under contract and $827,000 average, and the amount sold was 188 with the average price of 772,000. For last week, we did new listings were 425 single family homes for the average price of $1 million. And then under contract was 268 single family homes for 916,000 average. And the amount sold was 213 for the average price of 917,000. For last year during COVID time, the amount of single family homes listed was 77 homes. It was the average price of $1 million, 1.1 million, while under contract was only 3 properties for $346,000 average, while the amount sold was 113 single family homes for 800,000 average.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you, Tashi. Now, obviously, the biggest takeaway here is the inventory, right? 425 homes 2 weeks ago, 425 homes last week. That's 850 homes in last 2 weeks. I mean, that's been our major obstacle, right? It's the inventory, not enough homes. And now we knew in spring it's going to pick up. People are getting vaccinated. Weather's nicer. People are getting obviously more comfortable, right? Showing homes. And you can see it. Like, remember, Fatima, it was always pretty much a wash. We had 300 new homes and 300 homes went in contract. Look at the difference now, right? So now finally we're getting more inventory for buyers to look at, which is definitely a super encouraging. Fatima, wrap up the Suffolk.
Awesome. So Suffolk, we have 2 weeks ago, 498 new listings for average price of 770. We have last week of 449 new listings, average price of 827, and we have last year around the same times 118 new listings came on the market for average price of 723. Under contract, we have 339 homes last 2 weeks. And then last week we have 325, average price of 740. And under contract last year on the same week, we have 2 under contract of 464. Sold listings, we have 251, average price 649. And then we have 226 for 643 average price. And then sold, we have 182 listings for an average price of 624.
And what's amazing, like what struck me first when you presented this report is the prices. I mean, this is Suffolk, right? I remember Suffolk, $300,000. Look at it now. Look at it now. It's incredible. It's incredible what's happening. Average of 251 homes sold with the average price of 650 and 643. That's amazing. Congratulations to everyone, on building a lots of equity. I'm talking about the homeowners, right? Perfect. Anything before we wrap up, Fatma? Anything you want to add?
No, like you said, obstacle solved. We have the inventory now.
Good stuff.
Yep.
Very good, guys. Thank you for jumping in, right? Enjoy the rest of the weekend, and we'll talk next week.
Cool.
Later. Bye.